guys, good day guys, welcome to another series of Python tutorial focus. So in this tutorial we are going to be building a project. At least we are done with functions in our last videos. So with everything that we have done, we have learned from Python from the previous videos, so we are going to make use of them to build a very little simple application, a simple program. We called it product adding program. So we are just going to be adding products to the list of an items that we have. But in this video we are going to be writing our code based on functions and the rest of the programs that we have done so far. So guys, let's dive into the course and then let's make things out of this video. So thank you. So now we need to define a function. So I will call this function registration. That means from here a user can register their account, can make register to an account. So in here we are going to set, because we want users to register with their username, so we are getting inputs from the users with their names, username. So and then they can also register with email. They can register with their email. So in this also we need them to enter their password, but in this password there is something we called password one. Let's say we get this password one, or let's say password as an input. Now let's make these functions to be more accurate by saying password 2. So this one should now be another input value. So we can call this confirm password. So confirm password. So now we want to make a conditional to verify if the password is correct and is not correct. So now let's say if password 1 is not equals to, now this particular syntax mean not equals to. That means if password 1 is not equals to password 2. So that means if password 1 is not equals to password 2, or let's do it this way first. Let's say if password 1 equals to password 2 rather. So if password 1 equals to password 2, so we should set print formatted string of registration. Sorry, let me take that from the screen. Okay, registration successful. Then let's call the username here. Let's say, so if this password is equals to this password, then registration successful. Okay, sorry, this thing is not showing some okay, I think success is not correct. Replace with successful. Else print registration field Cox password and confirm password is not the same. So that is that. He said password and confirm password not really the same. So in here now, okay, now don't let us use that. Let's just say registration field, and then the reason is password and confirm password is not the same. So now that is that on registrations. That is that on registration. So now to text our registrations, we need to call registration function. So we need to call registration functions. So now we are calling the registration functions to text our program whether it works the way we want it. So now let's run the code. Let's see what we have. Now this say we have username. Let's say my username is adex23. My email is ade@gmail.com. Let's say my password is ade, and then my password is also ade. Since this password is the same, the confirmed password and the password is the same, then I should ask registration successful adex23. So now let's rerun the code and let's do some failed password. So now my email at gmail.com, and then let's say I have this and I have this. So the password, note that Python is very case sensitive. This password is not the same thing as this, so we should have registration failed. So registration failed, password and confirmed password is not the same. So it works the way we want it. So we can still get rid of this for now. Now let's define another function called login. So this function, so we need a new variable called new username. So that means we want users to enter their previous username that they have entered here. So let's just use old username, so which is this username that they registered with. So now we are getting this input from the users that said user name, username, and then we need their password to we need them to enter their password to log into the account. So we said password. So now wants to make sure something is working. Yeah. So we're going to say if statement, that if old password is equals to, that means if old password is equals to this, old username rather, if old username is equals to the username that they registered with, and now this is comparison operator, and password equals to this should be old. Let's change this to old too, since we don't want the variable to be the same name. So and password and old password rather, and old password and old password. So equals to password, and then we can see there is an error because Python is telling us that username is not found. No name. This is name error. There is no variable named username or password here. Actually, we have it defined here, but I will still tell you the reason why we are having this error. But let's finish this. Let's say print formatted string login source successful, and then old username. So else, let's do some else statements. So then print invalid login credentials. So invalid login credentials. So meaning that if this is not correct with what they registered with, that means this error should prove that this is invalid login credentials. So now let's fix this. Let's try to call this function, because we surely have an error when we are calling this login details. But before you call the login details, you must also call register details, so that to allow users to create an account. So now we are going to have an error in this code at login, because we have these two errors, username on red and then this password on red. I will tell you the reason why, so we fix this later on. So now we have this to be added, then added as gmail.com, then this to be, and then let's register successful. So registration successful. Now it's time to log in. So let's say we have this, and then we also have the password correct. So we should have a, I told you that there will be an error, new name, because username is not defined. And also if we fix this, there will be an error again on the old, and the password here is not also defined. Now let's try to fix the error. Now but first, let's try to print these details. Now let's print something here. Let's say login to your account here. So log into your account. So now let's do the special characters of new line here. Let's miss this special character new line here. So n, so slash n. So this should create a space between these registration functions. So now let's fix this error. The main reason why we are getting this error is because, see, anytime you define the function inside, anytime you define the variable inside a function, the variable is only limited to that function. That means this is private, because this can only works when you are still in registration functions. But this username and the password one here and the password one here that we are trying to access here, okay, sorry, this place is even password one, and the password one we are trying to access here, they are private variables, which is not global variable which we just declared. Let's say we just declared any variable here. Now let's say maybe we declared maybe username variable here, and then maybe we just try any username. Now you see that this has been fixed, but this is not the right way to do this, because if you are trying to verify whether the username, but you can't make any username to be default. So we get this, but because the main reason why we can access this username here is because this is global. This, anytime you define a variable outside the function, means the variable is global. So now that means it's not private. But the main reason why we have seen this error is because this username is private to this function. So any variable that you declared inside a function, so it's private and can be only be used inside the functions that you declared it. So now how do we now fix this error if the variable we defined inside the function is private to that functions? That means we can only use it in that functions. So how do we now fix this error of this that we are encountering in the login functions? Now to do that is very simple. All we just have to do is to make this private, to make this from private to public. We need to make all these variables to be public, especially when it comes to username, email, and password one here. We need to make these three variables to be global. That means to be global means to be able to be accessed in another functions. So now it now takes us to something we call global. So there is a particular built-in keywords in Python called global. So this function allows you to convert private variables to a global variable. So now if I click on global, now all I just need to do is global user name. That means firstly you need to define the global before declaring the variable. So now global, then email. I want to make the email also public. I'm not making it private. So now let's do global again of global for password 1. So now we make all this code to be global, because now since that we make all these codes to be global, now you see that we won't be seeing the same underline red errors under these things, because we have made the variables here to be global. So Python can easily located the variable at the top. Now let's do one thing here. Is if old username is equals to username before and old now, because we want to get the email of the users to maybe the user, we want to make the users to be able to log in through the username or their email instead of only username here. So all we just have to do is use another companion comparison operator, and then let me show you the comparison operators that we have. These are the comparison operator that we have in Python: and, or, not. So these are the comparison operators that we have in Python. So we have and means anytime you are using the and comparison operator, that means all conditions must be true. So this and simplify that all the conditions that you are trying to join together with and comparison now, they must all be true. So anytime you are using or means at least one of the condition must be true. At least one of the condition must be true anytime you are making through this and making use of this or comparison so operator. So now let me write it at the top. So we call it comparison operator. So comparison operator. So now the not means even though the conditions all the conditions are true, so automatically if you are using not will automatically make the condition to be what? To be false, because not means negative. So comparison operator means this not now, even though the condition is true, but not will make it to be false. So that is the comparison operators that we have. So now I want to make use of it here. Now I want to make use of or. You now say that old not old password, old user name is also equals to email. Maybe is also equals to email. So we are now verifying the condition that if old username equals to username that the users registered with here, because we have made the username to be global here. Don't forget we make it a global variable here. So or old username is equals to email. That means if the users entered either their username or their email, so anyone goes, and then old password is equals to the password one. That means we are now comparing this password with the password that the users has created accounts with. Now let's try to work this out. So now let's say users is creating an account here. Now let's say this is this at gmail.com, then password is this, then password is this. Now don't forget the \n that I put inside the function for the escape character. So that is the reason why you are seeing the space here. So now log into your account. Now we created the account, registration successful. Now it's time to log in with my username and then my password too. Now this is now login successful. Since this password is the same thing as the password that we create an account with, and then this username is also the same thing as this. So also we can try the email too. So let's say we use this and then let's say we use this, sorry to be fast. So then we'll create an account, then we want to use the email this time around. So Ade is the email here. Don't forget that we use Ade here instead of Ade as something is fishing, but that doesn't stop us. So username Ade, and then the password too is Ade. Then use it as login still successful, even though we use the email. Login still successful. Sorry, let me use the normal distance so that you can see what I'm saying. So now let's say this. Now this, then this. We are now logging in with email now. So and then this is login still successful with this email. But the main reason why you are seeing this email here is it should be your username, is because we are calling anything that the users has entered from here now. But to fix this error, we need to just call the username, because this will only call the registered the created account username here. It will only just call that one. Now let's try again. So Gmail, yes. Now let's create login with the Gmail that we created account, and then the password. Now this is that login successful. Even though we entered Gmail here, but still yet we have the same scenario here. So now let's try to make an error when we are trying to log in. So I will make this quick. I will make this quick. So now let's say the password is, we are now using the password is Adela, but it is not Adela that we created an account with. We want to verify whether the password is true or not, and using that, still login successful. So something is fishing here, because yes, actually is using the email to verify the conditions that we have here in this program. That is the main reason why we have that error. But guys, so that is on our registrations and login stuff of a thing. So in the next video, we are going to be making use of these registrations functions and then the login functions for our product adding programs. So guys, thanks for watching this video. See you in the next video. Bye.